everybody, it's Femtrooper, and today we're going to talk about how to avoid FOMO. So what's FOMO exactly? Well, it's fear of missing out. So what does that mean for the gaming community? It usually means you end up buying way too many games and then you don't end up playing any of them or very little. So I've come up with a list of basically how you can avoid FOMO so you don't fall into the trap of just constantly hoarding and buying games. Now, if you're a collector, different story. Obviously, there are people that have different ways of buying games and playing games, but this is mostly to avoid that feeling of looking at your shelf and going, I have 186 games I haven't played, and it gives people anxiety. It makes people upset. When you buy tons of games and you buy every single game that comes out, every single game that even remotely interests you or has, some interesting thing about it, when you buy every single game, you basically are creating so much more anxiety for yourself, and it's really not good for anyone because now you're essentially just building your backlog to be insane and not even manageable, even slightly. Tip number 1, keep a list. Keep a list. Every single game that comes out, you can keep a list of all of those games. Does it mean you have to buy all of those games? No, I do this every year. I always do this. I have a list on my phone right now of all the games that are coming out that I want or have come out that I still want and maybe haven't bought. And I don't feel like I have that FOMO effect or fear of missing out because it's okay. I have it on a list. One day I can get to it. I can buy it when I want to. Trust me, tons of games come out that interest me. Just to, throw a number out there. Let's say 30 games get released during the course of a year that come out and I only buy 20 or I buy 15 of those games. Now, some of those games are probably not games I'd care about anyway, so they're kind of throwaways because, you get excited and then by the time it comes out, you're like, it's not really for me anyway, so then it doesn't matter. But then also, you're probably not going to play that many games anyway. Depends on the person. But for me, if there are 30 new releases that are coming out, I'm not going to play 30 new games. I know what I can do in a year. I can beat about 20-ish games. So for me, that's just not doable. So this comes to my next tip. Prioritize the games that you want to buy and play. Have a list of which games are priority. So what does that mean exactly? Well, there are certain new releases that come out that are must-haves. They're there's no exception, it doesn't matter, day one I'm buying it, or say it comes out, I usually have a rule at Christmas where if a game comes out past November 1st, I save it as a gift someone can buy for me because it's more fun, or else then no one would have anything to buy for me. So I keep a list and I have priorities, but there are games that are 100%, I'm not missing that. I'll give you an example. For me, a game that's coming out in the fall that is a must-buy, there's no exceptions, I want it no matter what, is Super Mario RPG, the remaster, the remake. I really, really, really want that. So it's a must-play for me. That's not a game that I'm going to let sit. I'm 100% playing it. There's no exceptions. Absolutely, I am playing that. There are other games that have been announced that I'm really excited for, but I'm not necessarily sure if I would play them the second they come out or their day one. They're high up, but I'm not I don't need to rush out to the store. I can wait a few months or I'll prioritize the new Super Mario Bros. Wonder. That's something I would prioritize. That to me is a must-have. Spider-Man 2 is coming out. That's a really big one for me. So these are all high up on my priority list. And then other games are not so much. In fact, some games are more curiosity, where it's it was announced, but then sometimes by the time they come out, you go, oh, that's not really for me. I'm not sure if I actually want to play that game. So then you kind of find out as they come out. And then some games are just, I simply don't have the time for it right now, but maybe I will in a year and a half. And I know that sounds weird, but it's true. Games take a long time. They aren't movies. You can't just sit in 2 hours and they're done. Some of these games take 50 hours of your time. So yeah, I do create a list of games I want to beat during a year, and I do actually say, yeah, I will get to that in a few years because that's realistic. I can't get to it this year because I can only get to so many games. You know how many games you can beat. If that's 4 games, That's what you can do. Some people, they beat 50 games a year, and some people it's like 10. So you know what you can do. So if 30 games are coming out that you want to play, but you know I can only realistically beat 5, well, then you have to have a priority list, and you have to set a list. Because if you keep a list, then you at least know. You're like, okay, that game came out in, say, February. I still haven't gotten to it, but I know I still want it. It's on my list. I'll get to it. Don't worry about it. I know I've said this before, but my next tip is play one game at a time. Again, it's a personal thing, but it works really well. I play one game at a time, and I beat my games. Lots of people will start up that have 6 games going, and then they don't actually finish anything, and it just, I don't know why it hurts me inside, but it's definitely like painful. It's fun to beat a game because you feel accomplished. You also get to see the end of the story because it feels so yucky. It's like stopping a movie 30 minutes in and just never finishing it, or whatever, or just stopping a book 3/4 in. It's weird to me, but I mean, I know that's what a lot of people do. So I'm just saying that's weird to me. But if you play one game at a time and you really commit, then you can actually beat it. I swear. People get so excited, they get so overwhelmed. They're like, oh, there's 4 new releases I want that come out this month, and then they try and play all 4 games, but then they never end up finishing or even really playing any of those 4. Just pick one, pick the priority game, say out of those 4 games that come out this month, which one do I really want to beat? Which one do I really want to play? Pick that game, beat it, move on to the next one. Because you'll find, and this is maybe not true with everyone, but I'll find there'll be a month where a big release comes out that I want really bad, and then the next month there's nothing. So it's like, okay, nothing comes out this month that I'm interested in, or maybe something comes out that I'm curious about, but it's something that can wait, and I'm not like dying to play it. Like I said, sometimes there's games that are like, it's a no-brainer. I'm buying it 100%. Whatever. I gotta play that. But then, there'll be like a month where it's like, oh man, there's not a game I want for 2 months. So then those 2 months, beat those games that you just bought. Next tip, be realistic. And I've kind of sort of been saying this already, but be realistic. Like I said, if you know, man, I only beat 5 games a year, trying to set a goal of like, I'm going to beat 6 games this year or 7, that seems doable. But if you're like, I beat 6 games a year, I'm going to beat 15 this year, that seems a bit outrageous, because that's not going to happen. And then you're just going to find that you're going to start up all these games and you're not going to play anything. So don't do that. Be realistic. Don't be realistic with your budget. I mean, everybody has a different budget, so do that too. I know so many people buy these games and it's like, really? Do you have to? I don't know. And like, the other thing is, these games are all just waiting for you. For the most part, I know there's limited run and there's weird exceptions. For the most part, these games aren't going anywhere. You miss a AAA game, not a big deal. It's okay, because chances are, A, it's cheaper now because you've waited, and B, it's just sitting there. It's just sitting on Amazon staring at you for years. I don't really see the need to like buy something right away unless it's like the most special, most insane, limited thing and you're a collector and you really care about that. But if you don't, I mean, it's not really going anywhere. And sorry, I'm a physical person, but if it does, not exist and you can't find it, chances are it's probably on the eShop. It's probably available digitally. My last tip, which might sound a bit obvious, on how to avoid fear of missing out, just stop caring. Don't compare yourself to other people. So many people, they buy all the releases and they're constantly showing you and they're playing every game. Well, maybe that's not you. Also, everyone has a different life. Like, I'm a parent now, so I don't have the time to spend playing a million video games. Like, somebody might say like, oh, I beat 60 games this year. It's like, okay, well, that's just never going to be me. In fact, that's never going to be me even if I didn't have a kid. It's just, everybody has different priorities. People have different hobbies. They have several hobbies. They have family members they take care of. They have whatever. They play a sport. I don't know. But you just have to, be realistic. Stop caring. It doesn't matter. The games aren't going anywhere. And I promise you, when you stop caring, it doesn't matter anymore. Just as an example, I thought I would share, I do have my most anticipated games of 2023 list on my phone, and there's a few that have come out that I just haven't picked up because I just haven't gotten to it. That doesn't mean I actually won't buy these games. For example, Like a Dragon Ishin came out. I really want to play that, but I try and play one Yakuza game every year, and then I just haven't gotten to that game. The game's not going anywhere. I can buy it anytime. It's, I can buy it at a store. I can buy it on Amazon. I'm not too concerned about it. When I want to play that game and I can play that game, I will. I also have Master Detective Archives Rain Code. when I want to play it, I'll get to it. I've been waiting, it just hasn't happened. And then I have a bunch of other games that are coming out and I go, yep, that's 100%, like, I'm definitely playing that game. That's a no-brainer, buying that right away and playing that right away. And the other ones are like, well, if I miss it, it will still be there. FOMO just makes people upset and gives them anxiety. Stop caring. Play what you can play. Have fun. We're talking about video games here, so don't worry about it. I used to have FOMO with movies, but I try and watch what I can because it's harder for me now as a parent. I can't just go to the movie theater every night. It's okay. I get to what I can. I keep lists of all the movies I want to see, and then I try and get to them. And then, it's fun to check off boxes, and then whatever that is for you, you can do it. Make video games the most fun thing you have to do. Don't have any anxiety about it. Don't have any tension or weird, it shouldn't make you feel upset or make you feel like you shouldn't look at your game collection and feel like icky. You should be like, yeah, this is fun. This is a fun thing I do. So whatever that is for you, if it means buying every game when it comes out and then loving looking at it on your shelf, go for it. If buying every game that comes out and then looking at it on your shelf makes you upset, don't do that. I think that's a huge part. If something makes you upset, don't do it. So that's basically my big tip is keep yourself happy, keep yourself like calm and chill, and just play video games. So I hope those tips helped everybody, and I will see you guys in my next video.